Hey guys, we just got back from 28 years later, The Bone Temple. While I am late to this review, our theater closed on Friday for repairs or some kind of biohazard or whatever. So I committed to watching it on Monday. The theater was packed in the parking lot at 4. I don't know if it's Lord of the Rings is out or people are going to the Bone Temple. Now, late to the party, I've already heard that the Bone Temple is somewhat disappointing at the box office, maybe doing about half of what 28 years later was doing, and that film didn't do very well. Well, I've got a problem. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I liked it a lot. In fact, I liked it better than the first 28 years later. This is a film that expands the best part of the previous one. The Doctor, played by
Ralph Fiennes.
This guy is amazing, guys. This is one of my favorite actors. And to just have a whole movie about him, and this is a movie that goes into more the philosophical, the reflection of a world with zombies that experiments. There's experiments. There's playing out the world. It's a slice of life as well. And we basically, we do some things here with the Alpha. With the Doctor experimenting with the Alpha, building a friendship with Samson with his he's rocking now with his eye. You know what I'm saying? The whole film, you gotta look up unless you want a face full of that, because they do not shy away from it. So if you don't like seeing dicks and cocks, then you don't go see this movie. But it's not there the entire time. It is visually impressive. It is well directed. The dialogue is excellent. The world is filled with interesting characters. And while there's barely any zombie action, which is surprising, I found it more entertaining. I was engaged by the performances and the questions and the situations. I always like it when a zombie apocalypse doesn't just say, this is the state of the world now and humans are shit. Yeah, I get that. That's every zombie apocalypse. This one says, this is the state of the world now. Humans are shit. Yeah. And let's do something with it. Let's try to figure things out. Let's just apply scientific method. Let's be curious about the world now, and then potentially setting up an evolution of what the zombies outbreak actually is, and how it can maybe be changed or reversed or contained or dealt with in the future. So this film deals with a lot of that. There is a big sequence that is brutal. It is hard to watch, disgusting, very... I mean, these are Satanists, so it turns out that the blonde-headed people at the last film, they are straight up a menace in this film. And so when you combine Satanists, you combine scientific method and philosophical questions about maybe curing this cure and the Alpha. I just found it really compelling with the performances from Ralph Fiennes and everybody here. Well done. Now, Ralph holds the film up, almost entirely himself. I want to hang out with that dude. I want to just live in the world with him and protect him near his Bone Temple. So I found the Bone Temple incredibly good. And then you have a climax, which any fan of heavy metal would be very happy to see. So this film was played for me, basically. And at the very, very end, there is a surprise, a tease at clearly what they would like to do, which is have a third film. And so I don't want to say too much about it until we go into the spoiler section, but that's a shame, because now we have a conundrum. Is this film going to make enough money so that we can get to that third film? And the latest I read on it is maybe. December 10th. They were thinking about, they're currently writing the third film, and I guess depending on how this does, it's still up in the air. People say, yes, we're going to do it, but I'm not sure. So what I want to say is, if you enjoy zombie films, good zombie films, then go out and support this one. I think it's a good time at theaters. What did you guys think of The Bone Temple 28 years later?
I like this one better than the last one we saw. That being said, I think this should have been its own thing. as opposed to combining it with 28 Days Later and all that stuff, because it really
the
does
Cillian
feel.
Murphy and all those other
Yeah,
ones.
because honestly, this film just feels like it's its own thing. Because right now, like you said, we're focusing on trying to find a cure for the rage virus and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I still didn't really care about Jimmy and the fingers. Best part was the Doc and Samson. That was fucking awesome. I still didn't like any of the Jimmy characters.
No, they are just
They're just there because we
be
needed a villain
crazy,
that wasn't a zombie, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But like
a menace.
there's not a lot of zombies in this one. I honestly, I don't know.
Doesn't sound like you like it.
I thought it was okay.
Okay.
I honestly was expecting a little bit more because, like, I thought the tone that it left me with the first one, it's like, okay, this is gonna be kind of crazy. They're jumping all over the place. It's gonna be like Power Rangers. But we got here with the Jimmy was completely different. I did not expect a lot of this stuff from that gang. I thought we were gonna spend a little bit more time with them.
Yep.
But we kind of rush some of their stuff, but which is fine because, again, I was more invested with Samsung
And the doctor.
trying to find out, is there really a cure and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a zombie movie, and it doesn't feel really related to 28 Days Later. I still liked it. I actually liked it better than the first one. I think the first one felt like 2.5 movies kind of cobbled together kind of poorly with a real weird ending that didn't fit, and certainly doesn't fit in the universe. I think you'd have a really hard time watching 28 Days Later and just 28 Days Later and then saying anything about the Jimmies and go, this does not work. It's the same different universe. We are cosplaying in 28 Days Later because it's like they're clean, and it's like we actually get a scene in this one where they kind of show how dangerous rage zombies are, where we see there's like one scene with some actual survivors. And it just so happens, it's just like a drop of blood, like we see in the very first movie. A drop of blood falls down and hits that goat in the eye in the very first movie.
At first I was like, what just happened to that guy? But then I remembered,
This
the way
world
the
is-
virus works.
This world is so crazy dangerous, and you would not run around with like a short 3-inch knife, and then you wouldn't do any of that. So like the Jimmies don't feel like
they don't fit. They're definitely cartoons.
But they're interesting. It almost
Yeah.
feels like a Rob Zombie movie kind of thing where it is violent, and they don't. It's not like Hostel where it's like almost oppressive in like how it's trying to be like, look how crazy we get. But I think that people are going to walk away with some of the and just go like, wow, this was kind of these guys were a menace. I think it's fun enough. I think if you like zombie movies and you were expecting a zombie movie, you're going to be disappointing. If you're interested in like a
I wanted to see something else, something deeper than just people ripping heads off and stuff, and that's what this is.
Yeah, but it's not a zombie. Like if you want to see a zombie movie, I don't think you get a zombie movie here, but you do get something that's like satisfying enough horror. And it's a shame because the guy in charge of the first one, I think he totally shit the fucking bed, and if we don't get a third, it'll be 100% his fault for having 3 wildly different. He's a producer on this one too.
Yeah.
But like this one, this director, I think we nailed a pretty cool tone all the way through. I don't love it, but I liked. I did not like the first one, and I was surprised that it was like, hey, this is fucking pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I echo all those statements too. I think, but I do think it's a zombie film. But there are hundreds and hundreds and thousands of zombie films at this point. You got your standard thing: the zombie outbreak happens, people get ripped apart, and either you end it with you cure it, or you end it with this is the world now, and humans are fighting humans and zombies.
Nuke it.
If you want something a little deeper than that and a little smaller, this film is pretty much at the Bone Church and surrounding areas, and it focuses in on the characters. The main zombie apocalypse is going on out there, and I like the exploration of characters and dealing with this on that personal level, and I think it gives the film some incredible depth and with great performances. This can definitely work, and it worked for me. Now I do agree with Alex because every once in a while, when these Jimmies are walking around, the main Jimmy will assign a Jimmy to go do something. They're all called Jimmy. So Jimmy says, Jimmy, go do the thing. and they'll walk off alone, and the film makes it a point to show us how badass these Jimmies are. Here comes a rage virus, whereas your normal human would be like, oh shit, and they'd run. These Jimmies are just like, they're so confident that they're motherfucking, I don't know.
They kind of remind me of the dudes from
Vampire
Tatooine
hunters.
and Boba Fett. I mean, one of them does like this spinning knife slash.
And I don't buy
and
it
it's
for a second.
So
The
cheesy
blood
and almost
would've
dumb.
been
Well,
squirting.
it's like it's not.
Because Alex is right, the juxtaposition of the world that they've set up previously, that even a speck of blood touches any of your internals, then you're fucked.
Within
They
seconds.
would already be dead.
Yes.
So you have to do a suspension of disbelief twice, because they are half as the size of everybody they're fighting, and because they use hand-to-hand. But if you're willing to do those two things, I think everything else in the film really works.
I have one. I mean, we'll talk about it in the spoilers. There's one kind of major, monumental thing that's kind of revealed in here that it's like, wait a fucking minute, no. But we'll.
Okay. So if you like Ralph Fiennes, go and see this immediately.
See him naked. You ever wonder what it looks like
Dude.
naked?
Yeah. There's a lot of dong. There's a lot of dong in this film. There needs to be, no. This is quite a lot. But it. I'll allow it because it's a great story, and the character, Dr. Ian Kelson, is very compelling. And, you don't see Satan cults very often, and you don't see Satan cults unleashed in a world, and especially not in a zombie world. You'd think that they're two separate films. You kind of smash these two films together. It feels like a chaotic world. It feels like, this could happen. This could be a setup. You could have somebody
like
just
chaos,
completely
but
losing
so
their...
peaceful.
Yeah, and then you have scenes where I don't want to spoil it, but
There are funny scenes.
in a reflection where you're looking at the stars, and I won't say anything else because who's looking at the
It's
stars?
like funny ass scenes. Like the crowd was like fucking laughing. I was like, is this supposed to be funny? I was like, all right.
I think some of those people were
sometimes.
enhanced.
Moments
They were
of
having
levity.
a really good time.
Yeah. Because, Jimmy has kind of put himself in a corner. He's saying Colton. He's saying he's constantly talking with his father, Satan. And, some of his people believe they found Satan. And he has to kind of figure out how to navigate his cult. And it's just fascinating. And I thought it had a great conclusion. And while there might not be a high zombie count or a high number of zombie kills, they're in there. It's just, I'm tired of that shit already. I want something new and interesting, and this definitely teases. So what it feels like is it definitely feels like a middle movie. And you're like, fuck, man, I hope the rest of it gets made so you can kind of see the end. Though, you think about it more, if it had to end here, I'm kind of okay with it because it does kind of resolve many of the elements, and it lets your imagination say, okay, now these two things have been taken care of. How do you go forward? Now, it definitely teases something big at the end, but I don't know if audiences are like, wow, that's the thing I want.
Well, the guy in
I
front of us
don't
did.
give
Like,
a shit about that.
Honest,
The guy was like, the guy.
yeah.
I was like, no, it's not that big of a deal.
Everything that I found really interesting in this movie would not be in the third movie, so I don't care.
Right.
Because it's like there's two things I loved about this movie.
Yes, exactly.
That
I'd agree with that.
and so
That's
it's
why
like,
I say I think it's okay.
done.
I think we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with
And
that.
it ended on a high note. I think this film, many people are going to agree, it's much better in terms of directing, writing, philosophical dialogue, the themes that it deals with than the first film. And it could end here and be it's still satisfying. I don't know. It might, because the budget for this one was $63 million. So far, we've made $31 million. So I think eventually it might break even if it's
You
on.
think it's gonna hit 120?
I mean, I don't know. It depends on how many weeks it lasts. Usually you get cut in half, and then you go even less than that week to week. So it might be a box office failure. But I do hope. Do I really hope that there's a third? What I hope is that if you enjoy zombie films and you want something a little bit more, that you go out and see it, or you wait for, this is definitely watchable on a VOD whenever this thing comes out.
Yeah.
Okay, Well, let's go with
They'll
final
put it on
verdicts then.
TBS, and they're going to put, like, hula
No,
skirts
fuck- oh,
on Samson or
I
something.
just remembered that. Yeah, this is HBO material with the amount of dong in here.
They'll just
So.
put them in funny
They'll
outfits.
just do like cutaways, real quick editing. It's like, what did I miss?
No,
the
I
whole
like
part?
his idea.
Extreme zoom in.
Yeah, well, you just put them in outfits. AI, they put stupid AI bullshit.
I did enjoy it more than the last one.
I gotta figure out what we
but
gave
that,
the last
But
one.
that being said, also like I felt like we kind of rushed the whole Jimmy and the Fingers kind of thing. Like we built them up. We built them up last movie. It was like, oh, this is Jimmy. This is this is what's going on.
Okay.
And then we meet him at the end, like he's supposed to be like this crazy badass over here, and then kind of I feel like a little bit rushed. Mind you, I still didn't like him as much, but you're not supposed to, I guess. I just still feel like it was still rushed. Best parts were the Doctor and Sam and what was going on.
Oh,
Trying to see.
let Alex go then if you need.
Yeah, because I'm like between 6 or 7.
Okay.
I feel I kind of get what you mean by feeling that the Jimmys were rushed. I do feel like we had more time with them because they're so unhinged.
Is it rushed or is it a disappointment?
Well,
Because it's like I don't need to spend an epic amount of time
I
with
thought
these
that's
guys.
what they were doing because like they like said in the beginning.
They
it's like,
definitely
this
set
is-
'em up.
And then at the end, I was like, okay, well these are gonna be the next badass
Yeah.
cast.
I get what you're saying. I feel we got the appropriate amount of time with them. I just wish that like we hit the gas hard. Like we got to a point where it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And then I wish we had kind of maintained that a little bit because then there was a little bit of a lull. So I think we got the appropriate amount of time. But it's just, I just don't think they would. I think probably would have scared off people, like people like leaving the theaters. If we had another scene like that, that the one scene that we have, people may not have stuck around. The Doctor stuff is interesting. I think the resolution for the Doctor stuff, horseshit, like bad. But as far as like you can't think about it for longer than like 10 seconds because then it's just like, are you what? But like we had two interesting enough storylines. I think I liked it a little bit better than you because I'm thinking like I could even see going as high as maybe an 8. But I think I'm at a 7. I think it's a pretty good horror movie. Feels a little. It's connected to 28, days and then months and all those other ones.
I don't
but
feel like it
but it's
is,
like it's
yeah.
it's loosely connected.
Loosely.
All it is the rage virus, right?
Yeah, but
that's
it's
it.
but then we have like these shots where they establish how dangerous the universe is, where we have mushroom hunter number 1 who happens to get a little bit of spit in his eye and immediately projectile vomits 5 gallons of blood out because the rage virus in this world is horrifying and an accident. You're like one little spit globule away from turning it. And then you've got Jimmy's who are
Jimmy's
Little
running
pocket
around with their
knives.
blonde hair and their fucking pocket knives. And
was like, that's
brass
too close.
knuckles.
they just don't feel like they fucking fit.
I got you.
And
I
so
got
it's
you.
like I think that this is a like
I got you.
way better than the last one.
Yeah.
It feels like a
Yeah.
complete movie. I'm satisfied. I think it's a pretty good movie, and for me, pretty good is 7.
Okay, I was way too kind to the first film. As rewatching it, the little directorial things that were thrown in there, like the flashes to like the war stuff and the I don't know, the juxtaposition of that kind of, I guess the UK-ness of it was really shining through. And the best parts of that film are expanded on this film. I think I gave the last one an 8. Probably is more like a 7. Because this one, to me, is better. But honestly, this kind of film is the only thing, you can only really do this in a sequel. Once you've set up some of the characters. Because, getting people reintroduced to the rage virus since it's been so long, setting the stakes and all that, this film is right where it needs to be. It's a sequel that expands on the best parts of the first one. So I'm going to go 9 out of 10 because I really enjoyed it. This is top tier zombie exploration stuff. While it may not have the most zombie kills and the most zombie action, it does have satisfying gore, horrific kills. And then it explores questions within its own universe that it sets up, within its own rules. The only problem, and I can definitely see knocking it down another point to an 8 out of 10, would be the Jimmies, right, and how they work in the world. That they don't use guns, they don't use nothing. They just get right up close. And in the same film, they showed one mushroom farmer, getting a tiny thing. And then in this film, I guess all the blood is magnetized away from them.
So they got wings.
Yeah, that's what the wigs.
And they're so clean, other than like one scene.
For me, I just because they're so interesting and it's such a weird thing and it's unique. I enjoy it. Same thing with the Doctor. Just a fascinating, unique character that goes all in. And you see this picture of him. There's a reason why he looks like this. Mm-hmm. He goes all in. He turns it up to 11. Okay? Spinal Tap style. So he does do that. And I thought it was quite satisfying and good movie. I would definitely be interested in a third. But I think it is a good conclusion if it ended here. All right.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the 7. Best parts were holding it up was obviously the Doc. His performance was great. Mm-hmm. His musical performance was fucking amazing. Mm-hmm. I like.
He was just having.
That's all he said is a musical.
He does a lot of just like hanging out and being nuts and kind of dance around and sing to himself, and he's having a blast. And it's we're
doing a lot of drugs, basically. There's a lot of drugs being done in this film, but it's in a good way and an interesting way and a satisfying way. So we'll see. All right, guys, let's go into the spoilers so that we could tell you what we're talking about, and also I found whether they're going to make the third film or not. So, all right. Hey guys, welcome to the spoiler section. So,
are they?
Yes, the third film is actually somewhat. So at first, the film was announced as a planned trilogy, and that's so rare, right? That Hollywood's willing to do. I'll give you 3. You know, when you don't even know if the first one's successful, much less the second one. And so far, things have not been going well. So maybe this is why Hollywood doesn't do it. And it sucks because, to me, the films are getting better. Now, Garland is serving as a screenwriter for all 3. In January 2025, Boyle confirmed that he would direct the final film in the trilogy. And so I don't know about that. I would rather the guy who directed this one direct the next one, because Danny Boyle directed the last one, which had the weird, eccentric director style sprinkled throughout it. I don't want him to come back for the last one. But that September, Murphy said that the third film would only be produced if audiences go and see the second one. But that December, so that was September when he said it, that December, Deadline reported industry buzz that Sony was proceeding with a potential third installment prior to the film's theatrical release, with Cillian Murphy in talks to reprise his role as Jim and Alex Garland writing the script, which he wrote all 3. Though no official confirmation has been announced. So it's right on the precipice of getting made. If this bombs hard, then, the studio can pull the plug anytime they want. Unfortunately, it's not going well. So if you want that to happen, still go out and see it. But there is a small chance that even if you don't go out to see it, they might still do it if this thing can break even.
I don't know if we need a third one. I think we're
right. So that's the big reveal at the end. What's the big reveal? Hey, Cillian Murphy's character appears. You thought he would be in the first film. You thought he was the skinny zombie because he kind of looked like him a little bit, but not really if he died. But no, he survived. He's got a daughter. And they're out living on a isolated farm, living their best life, learning about World War II. He's a teacher of a local community. And he sees our 2 surviving characters from this film
Jimmy the Lady and Spike.
Yeah, Jimmy the Lady and Spike, and he is running from the horde, and his daughter says, should we help them? He hesitates a bit, but then says, of course. And then they go out to help him. So they'll meet up. And now, to me, you're going to turn it back into a standard zombie film. Like, I don't give a fuck.
So the Jimmies are all dead.
Yes.
Every Jimmy is dead. There's like the surviving lady Jimmy, but she's not a Jimmy anymore. She's got the, so it's like the Jimmies are resolved. Yeah. The Doctor...
Jimmy's are resolved, and the Doctor, the best part that we all love,
resolved. And
died.
So
now, there's a small chance. I mean, the alpha does pick up the doctor.
And then it goes, rah.
And then goes off screen. I do think it's a different zombie, but it could still be the alpha.
Okay.
I think it's a different zombie because he's going off and doing something. The doctor still has the knife jammed in it. The doctor thought he wasn't going to survive.
Yeah.
Everybody around him didn't think he was going to survive. So it is a 99, let's say 95% chance the doctor's character is done. But if they know and they get the feedback, man, Ralph Fiennes carried us 2 times. We need the motherfucker. So maybe the alpha can do something, take him somewhere where they can evolve together. So the whole point of the film, pretty much what makes it so interesting to me, is what you see in the trailer. The 2 people coming together. You got the alpha, this relationship between the alpha and the doctor. The doctor is injecting him with a concoction he's made himself.
Mostly morphine.
Mostly morphine and a bunch of other cool stuff in there. And it calms the zombie down. And
they're both
you
on
can
like
see his
fucking
eyes
trip together. They're like both sitting down. The alpha's just like they're just chilling. They start dancing
Just
together.
hanging out with their wangs
I'm
out.
like, what the fuck is going
hanging out
on
with the
here?
cocks out. Yeah.
They're just listening to the river sounds, and they're just
It's
having
great.
Yeah.
They listen to music and what is it? Got Duran Duran. They got some crazy stuff. And I don't know. I just
keep
really
doing
like
that
the
over and
exploration.
over. Yeah.
And it's scary. You know, at any moment you see him tensing his muscles. He's like, man, this is dangerous. At any moment he can just grab the doctor. And what if it doesn't work? What if the doctor forgets? Oh, you know, how long does this last? And he tries talking with them. And the more he does this concoction to him, the more you see his eyes go from the red alpha, just hyper violent, to returning his eye color, and his eyes move around less, and he's a little bit more aware. And it's almost touching, this friendship, this bromance that develops, because he realizes, well, fuck, I've gone in a 75-mile radius for all the morphine. There's no more morphine. This is only going to last 2 more weeks, my friend. And so, you know, I have one more concoction, which is basically to kill the alpha and, you know, give him peace. And as he's about to apply it, the alpha is staring at the moon, and he loves the moon for some reason. And then you'll see in the flashback why. And then he says, moon. And this gets the doctor what he always wanted, because earlier in the movie he said, man, what I would give to just hear you say anything.
Yeah.
You know?
Pretty early on, I think the doctor was ready to die himself, because early on they're sitting at the river, and he's like drugged up Samson, and so he pulls out one of his little things, and he's just like, they're sitting there high out of their minds, and he falls asleep.
Like,
and he wakes up, and he's just like, hey, my head's still attached, and Samson's gone. And
Samson
it's just like,
must have just got up and peaced out.
Yeah, it's just
did
like
his own thing.
That's how he knows that,
I like that.
they're making progress.
It's so cool. And later on in the film, he lets everybody know. He's like, look, I've completed my life's work. I've got my what's the word for the chapel of bones? Ossuary or something. There's a specific word for a bone chapel. I've done my bone chapel. You know, I've lived my life, and so he's ready to die, essentially.
Yeah. The only problem I had, which I think is kind of dumb, is he legitimately cures zombieism with like a handful of pills that he had in his back pocket in a bunker. And
I like it.
It doesn't go anywhere.
I don't give a fuck.
And because it doesn't fit.
He does. He's reading a bunch of books. He's doing studying. He's been doing this his whole life. But the film is okay. So the thing, there's a symptom here, and puts it, and then he puts it on the guy.
And then so it's like the fact that like the entire world exists in like full technology, and we're in the 2020. They're in the 2020s, and no one's found a cure for anything or doing anything about it. And this doctor with the pills he had in his pocket happened to cure it.
Well,
it's
we
like,
don't know the greater world. Maybe this is all in the UK and the other. Remember, the other world.
they're
we
fine.
don't know what's happening in the other world.
We do. There was a guy in the last film that
That's
was
right.
like, everything is fine.
Right, everything is fine
They're
everywhere
injecting
else.
shit in their lips. They've got iPhones. Everything is fine.
Right, but nobody gives a shit about the UK.
No one had any pills in their back pocket to immediately cure zombieism. That
quarantine. It's fine.
See how it doesn't really connect to 28 days later easily? It's like, okay, well, if we're going to set those rules up, then why didn't anybody already do this concoction? If there are safe zones and smart people in those safe zones, you're telling us that the Ralph Fiennes character is, no, he's the ultra smart one. He's mixing herbal medicine and medicines that they wouldn't normally think to use. Maybe he was mixing meth and BCP. He was doing some crazy shit.
It was like an ibuprofen and a Tylenol and a Dayquil. It's like you ever had a really bad flu and you're like, I'm gonna have these 4.
Yep.
And it's like maybe we should be mixing these, doc.
But I liked it, and he says, "Look, I don't care. At one point, the subplot is the Jimmy's going around doing Jimmy things. Eventually, the Jimmys see the doctor. He's got basically painted skin. He's got bone temples, and he's conversing with an alpha, and the alpha's being calm around him. So the Jimmys think,
that's the devil.
That's the devil. And you know how you say you're always talking with the devil? I saw the devil and I found him. Let's go see what the devil thinks. And Jimmy's like, fuck.
It almost turns into like a Flintstones thing where Jimmy walks up to this guy and he's like, "Hey, you're not the devil? Cool. I need you to pretend to be the devil because my friends are coming over right now." And like but it's done in a believable kind of
dangerous tension.
And then he straight up says, "Oh, and if you don't do this, I'm gonna shove your intestines in your mouth until you suffocate." And the doctor's like, "Oh, okay." And because
I am in a predicament.
the Jimmys, we haven't talked about it. Like the Jimmys are fucked up. They they're skinning people alive. They are torturing them to death. They're like doing everything they can because they treat the zombies as demons, and all these survivors are people that need to be sent to hell, and like they do some fucked up stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Eventually, they run into the doctor, and they confront the Jimmy, who goes over there, and he says, "Okay, let me go talk to the Satan first." And then that's my father, and because he doesn't want to dispel anything, and he wants to control the situation. They have that conversation, and they agree. The doctor agrees to put on a show. That's what I said. By turning it up to 11, pulls out his Iron Maiden albums, makes this big performance.
He created gas. I don't know where he got gasoline that works. He does all sorts of crazy stuff.
He's even doing fire dances and shit to really sell it, and he's like moving around, and dude, I'd be scared too. I'd be like, "This is a damn good show," one of them says, and I said, "Yep, it was a damn good show."
Great
Even
fucking
people in the audience were clapping at the end of the song because he literally starts singing, the Iron Maiden song, the 666. So.
He makes sure to drugs all of them.
Yes.
And he's blowing morphine in their face, and they're just like,
and that helps. That helps the immersion of the film, where it's like, why would they buy it? Well, they're on fucking drugs.
Yeah, you just see an old man dancing. It's like, nah, but you see an old man dancing on drugs. That's the devil.
And he probably spiked that shit too. All right. Well, so that and I thought that was interesting. Now he says, "Okay, I've completed my work. These people are coming tomorrow, and I want to try something." And so that's when he makes this different concoction and gives it to the alpha. And later on, we see the alpha has wandered off on his own, and he's more aware. And in fact, he goes back to the train because this is his point of origin. That's why it's been his territory. He was a little boy on the train, and he has this book on the moon, and that's why he likes the moon so much. And you can see, the zombie outbreak in the background happen. Like one passenger start ripping people apart, and then he has this flash forward to when he's older. I don't know why we included that because he was never that old on the train, but he's an adult or halfway between his alpha form and his younger form, and everybody's staring at him, and they're all like zombied, and they're like, boo. And then he wakes up, and the zombies have slowly crept up on him, and his alphaness has kind of worn off. He's still imposing, and the zombies are kind of like, but they're like, there's something wrong with you. You're different now.
Yeah.
And then they attack.
And so now he's immune because the zombies spit in his eyes. They bite him. They do all sorts of crazy stuff to him, and he doesn't change back.
So this is a third type now, and I thought that was fascinating. They've created a zombie. I don't know what to call it yet, but it's a new evolution because you have to be converted to zombie and then unconverted.
He's an Ellie. He's immune to zombie bites. He's gonna be a dad now.
Oh yeah,
he's a dad now. That's what we call now.
Yeah.
But anyways, and he comes out triumphantly
covered in blood, and his pants are gone.
Just covered in the blood. At one point, he does feel modesty, I guess, because he covers up for no reason. And I'm like, thank God. I don't have to see this.
He was squatting in the river, washing his hands, and maybe like it touched it's cold, and so
he's like, no,
I don't like that.
I don't like that. He puts on a little skirt. But when he fights all these zombies and wins, and so he's still savage. He still has all the strength, and maybe he has got some zombie power pumped up. And he comes out, and he's rocking out same way as he did before.
Broke him in half.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because now he has awareness, and in fact, he goes back to the doctor. But by then, the meeting has already taken place between this fucking crazy Jimmy, man. This guy is, at any moment, he could just fucking snap a twig here or snap something in his brain and just go crazy. And but I love the tension in the scene because they're playing along, right? The doctor is doing his "I'm your father, I'm Satan" thing for the crowd, but when he notices Spike.
Yeah, he'd been wearing a mask the entire time, and he notices the little boy is Spike, and he realizes how bad the Jimmies are, because the Jimmies are like, we're going to go around.
We're going to kill everybody.
Yeah, we're torture all these people to death, and their screams will fill
in your name.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, shit, you're capturing these people and forcing them to do it. He's like, nope. Much like God sent his son and had to be crucified before he could rise, I demand that you be crucified. And
I have one more commandment.
And I want all of you to crucify him.
The whole theater was laughing at that. Yeah. He was like, I've got one more commandment. And Jimmy's like, what? No. You already gave your final commandment, Father. That it was kill and maim. And he's like, no, there's one more. And he's like, what is it? And then he tells him, you need to be a sacrifice.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, this is so good because you know that the show that he just put on, he's got him fully in it. And they're smiling. And his number 2, this crazy lady number 2, do you think that she legit, is she still a Satanist by the end?
No, I don't think so, because she was already, like, whenever he was first kind of saying, I'm going to go visit the doctor myself, he's like, no, something feels off. We just need to she's just there for protection for now till they escape.
What do you think, Alex?
I don't think she's brutal as hell because she has some of the craziest, most unbelievable kills in it. So I don't think that she's believing. She knows that Jimmy is full of shit. She even says to Spike, "So do you ever think that this guy's full of shit?" And he's like, "Yeah." And so like,
you think she regrets the things that she done, or she's still into it, but she just doesn't want I think that they're keeping her a wild card because when you go into the third film, now that this kind family...
Oh, I absolutely can wait to see what Doyle wants to do with her, to the point where I just hope he doesn't get a third movie. Because like he's going to do something, and then we'll play something from a black and white Chechnyan movie.
She's clearly...
And then there'll be some sort of march going on and some nonsensical bullshit.
She's clearly invested, or was at one point. She's cut an upside-down triangle in her head. She's scarred.
And that's very Catholic.
And
triangle?
everything. So, but the conversations and scenes between Jimmy and the doctor, they're all really fascinating. They're tension-filled. They're interesting to listen to. But yeah, so eventually Jimmy's like, no, fuck this. He's like, that's not Satan, and he stabs him. And I'm like, no, the best character. Why you do this? And
then so Kelly kills one of the dudes that is loyal to Jimmy. Like he charges her, and so like the I don't want to call Kelly. Let's call her Kelly.
Yeah.
The good Jimmy.
The one in red. Yeah.
Kills the dude, and then the other female Jimmy charges her and goes, "No, you killed," and then she kills her too.
She's like, "Don't do it." Yeah, she kills 2 of the fingers,
and
all the fingers are dead.
And then while
Spike
we're distracted,
stabs.
Spike gets main Jimmy.
Main Jimmy.
All right, Spike. There's that's the thing when nobody knows and cares about you, and nobody notices where you're
Stab
at.
him.
You can slip in and stab him.
But he only stabbed him once in an area where he's not even like bleeding out to death.
Right. I want you to stab him multiple times because they, if they wanted, could keep Jimmy alive too. Yes, Kelly goes as to the dying doctor. She's like, I could do one more thing for you, doctor. I'll follow through with your final commandment. Crucify this asshole. She wanted to anyway.
They don't show it, but you hear it, and it's very satisfying.
Yeah. Later on, you do see him upside down. He is nailed to the cross, so his hands are fucked, his biceps are fucked, his feet are probably fucked.
They tie him his midsection, so he's up there pretty good.
And so I think he's more than likely going to die. There's more chance that he's about the same chance that he and the doctor are dead and not going to go into the next film, because they do make it a point of showing that while he's like, Father, you've forsaken me, he's just then, as he's on drugs, he sees the Alpha come back. But the Alpha's coming back in his mind as actual Satan with horns and everything, and he has forsaken him. But the Alpha actually shows kindness to the Doctor, and he tells the Doctor, thank you. And so he's definitely cognizant and has his wits about him. He lifts up the Doctor, and he walks off. We don't see it. Presumably goes to bury him, but maybe we can get, I don't know, do something crazy to keep that character alive, but probably not.
I see.
Meanwhile, a zombie comes, and it looks like it attacks the guy, so he's more than likely dead too. But again, if you don't see a death on
He's fucking
screen,
dead.
He got nailed through, like, you one little slit across your wrist and you're dead.
It's
Like, he got
puncture.
nailed and
He's
nailed
a
and
puncture.
stabbed. And so it's like,
it is a puncture.
So the
You can uncrucify yourself, man.
like that's like late season Game of Thrones stuff where it's like, how did some
Yeah,
guy die
don't
of
do
a
it.
It's like you had people die of a scratch in like not too long ago. We cannot have people crucified and stabbed in the guts
Well,
and then
this
magically
is
come
this
back.
is just we start the next film if they do those two things at a 5 out of 10, and then we go down from there. But I think these two characters are dead. But this is just wishful thinking for franchisability stuff.
Yeah.
But so that's how that ends. We forgot to go over the most brutal scene where the Jimmies just go to this random farm family who was separated at the time, and they just start skinning them in the barn. Jimmy goes, let's see, I'm calling my father here. My father is here. My father, like, all right, what charity shall we give them? I'm feeling take their shirts off.
Yeah.
And it's like, what their shirts are, okay, so you're going to make them naked. No, what they mean is they rip their clothes out and they skin their upper
torso.
body.
And then they only show a couple times, but they show a time where they cut a big slit
Yeah,
and then they drag it down and you see,
Yeah.
and it's
It's crazy. It's crazy. Meanwhile, one of the farmers, this one chick, was able to escape, but for some reason, she comes back and she's just in the attic looking down, like hoping that, she can eventually find a moment to do something. And at one point, the Jimmy's like, I need, Jimmy, he says 7 fingers. So he has 7 followers, and he wants a stronger follower. So he says, go ahead and challenge any of my Jimmies, and you can take its place if you win. So, of course, I'm thinking, oh, he's going to choose Spike. Where's Spike? He's choosing to choose Spike. Now, Spike had run outside and threw up. Just then, Kelly comes by, and he's like, please don't make me go back out there. And she has, for a moment, it's kind of unbelievable because so many people have probably begged and pleaded with her not to, kill them. And he does the same, but this time it cracks her heart, I guess. And she goes, all right, stay here with me. And they pretend that they haven't shown up yet. So the weakest now, he thinks, is the fairy girl, basically, who's small and feeble and's got her head down. But she immediately puts her head up and smiles because she was probably hoping to be picked because she's the most sadistic of them all. And she just fucking kills him and plays with him. And she's about to fucking strip his pants off the
she
same
said
way.
she was going to rip the skin off his and then a hook. Well, because she doesn't actually say it because at the when she does, a big metal hook goes through the back of her head.
That was a cool scene, too.
Yeah.
So when there's action, there's good action and creative action. So it does turn out that the chick in the attic does something about it. And then that lets the guy who was fighting pick up a fucking propane tank and do a flamethrower on one of the other Jimmies. So you got 2 dead Jimmies at that point. There was a dead Jimmy at the beginning. So was there 7 Jimmies? And then it went down to 6. And then we lost those 2. So it was 4 Jimmies. Kelly, the Spike, and the 2, and then the 2 people, because one of them also got burned as well.
Yeah. But
Or
there's
2
also
people got burned,
2 people
I think.
got
yeah, but there's also
One
Supreme,
engulfed in full flames, and then one died sometime later.
yeah, and then there's also Supreme Jimmy. So there's 5 Jimmies at the end of the movie.
And then Supreme Jimmy. Oh, I didn't count him as a finger.
He's
I counted
the
him as a
Jimmy.
He said 7 fingers.
thumb.
God damn
And then
it.
that's the 8th. But they all die by the end at the Bone Temple. And so that's resolved. And then we have Kelly now, who I guess is a wild card. Spike, who is just trying to survive in this fucking world.
You think he's taking her back home? He's like, hey, you come back with me, and we'll go back to
Maybe.
my island. And
But they cross. They're not yet on the island, are they?
no, everyone lives like a block away from each other. It's
kinda weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Cillian Murphy just so happens to live out here with his daughter. And I'm like, all right, why wouldn't you live on the island? Because that seems like
They're
the most
watching it
safe.
from the back windows like, that's a crazy place.
The juxtaposition doesn't work sometimes because you have all these jimmies and they're walking around, and it's like you need more weapons if randomly these guys are going to charge you. And sometimes when the zombies show up, they scream. You have screamers, which will bring the other zombies to it. So there's no way these jimmies would have just been walking around and hanging out in the world. But we just have to assume that they got so lucky here.
Well, that's why I thought we were going to spend some more time with the jimmies. Because, like, honestly, it was pretty quick. Well, we just wrapped up. We spent majority of the time we spent talking about the doctor and all the cool stuff. And then when they meet up with them, we didn't really talk about.
Like, do too much Jimmy stuff, yeah.
Yeah, because the movie picks up right where he left off. Spike gets captured. He's like, okay, you have to fight this guy now. It's to the death.
Oh, right.
And they're both fighting.
I was like, there's no way Spike's going to win. This
Spike
kid is
he's
twice
like
his
whooping his
size.
ass, whatever. Then later on, Spike pantses him and fucking stabs him in the fucking thigh.
Yeah. And he gets lucky.
Gets
He's around the
super
artery.
fucking lucky. The kid pulls it out. He hit the fucking artery.
Dumbass move.
Sprays everywhere. Sprays on Jimmy and everything. Or not, Spike now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just fucking crazy. And that's how he becomes...
Yeah, that's how he
the
joins
new
the
one.
gang. But he's never truly one of them because he doesn't do any of the scanning and sadistic stuff. And he's always trying to run and try to find a way out.
Yeah.
Great film. Really interesting.
All of I guess the zombies, the crawlers are not in this one. Like, they introduced a bunch of zombies in the first 10, 15 minutes of the last one where they're like, things are evolving and getting different. And other than Samson.
That's kind of dropped here.
And other than just Samson, it's dropped.
You get the pregnant thing. He actually, Samson goes back to that pregnant lady and does something with her body.
Oh, the doctor.
The
doctor
does.
grabs. Yeah, the
He
doctor
just
grabs
grabs
her.
the bones and
Yeah,
puts it
yeah.
in the temple.
Okay, right. Got it. Okay. Yeah.
Trying to think what else.
I think
That
that's
was
pretty
it.
much
Yeah.
We don't go back to the village. We don't know what happened to the baby. If the baby grows up to be a zombie and they all die.
I thought the final scene was going back to the village, but it was the Cillian Murphy
Yeah.
farmhouse. Yeah, so
And you only see him and the daughter. You don't see the two other women that are, may have survived all this time.
okay. So, how would you do the third film, Alex?
I wouldn't. But I would say that they want to get back home, and then Cillian Murphy's like, well, it's too dangerous.
Let me
and
go with you.
then-
You don't
yeah.
think it's going to carry over any of the themes and the revelations in this film?
Like the Samson thing, where
The
it's just
Samson
like,
thing?
No
Yeah.
way.
Samson doesn't know how he was
Yes.
cured.
Why would they set this up, guys, if they're not going to do anything with it? No,
Well,
there's two
they
things.
set up all those other zombies and didn't do anything with it. They set up like the
those are
external
side
world.
zombies. This is an alpha. You don't change an alpha into a new version of a creature.
He's just a
So
dude
this
now,
is
though.
definitely going to be. He's not a dude. I think he has zombie powers in addition to being a dude. So it's a new form of humanity.
He's going to help them along the way, but go.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's going to fight all the zombies. Now, that's too standard because we went high
That's-
concept
that's what-
here, and then we're going to come back down. Now, are they going to do anything with the cure? Well,
No,
no one knows.
Doctor's
no one knows
dead.
what it
No one
is.
knows about the cure.
That's true.
Samson doesn't even know about the cure.
The only thing
He
they
said,
can
hey,
do.
maybe this will work. Let's check it out. And
Okay, you're writing it. Your script doctor. What could you do? He wrote his shit down. So he wrote down his concoction, but then they would have to
they
go
would
back
have to
to
go
his
back
bone
to
temple.
the bottom and
They
then
could
find out.
They could do that, and maybe that's where they meet up with Samson, and he protects them,
But
and they escape.
I guess they meet him in the beginning because, like, what purpose do they have? It's like, oh,
Oh,
the
they talk
doctor.
about it.
Who talks about it? Oh,
They talk about
Samson?
They talk about where are you guys from? Where did you come from? Oh, the doctor, the bone temple, right? And then there's no reason to
is
go
Samson
back
going
to
to be
the
like,
bone
oh,
temple.
he cured me? It's like, oh, well, let's go look for the
Yes.
cure.
Not exactly like that. They notice that there's the alpha that they've seen before, right? I think our main characters have seen the alpha before.
Seen multiple
Kelly has
alphas,
seen
yeah.
it, and Spike has seen it. And they notice that he's different. And then they put two and two together. They talk to Cillian Murphy's character, and they're like, okay, yeah, then we have to go back to the Bone Temple. They go back to the Bone Temple. The alpha helps them out of a jam, and they get the cure, and they go back to that island that separates from the rest, and then they make the cure on the island. That's the only thing I can think of.
No, Cillian Murphy's daughter gets bit by a zombie, and she
Oh,
turns.
shit.
And so then they notice,
I like that.
and then they're like, well, Doc had a cure, and like we got Samson, so we have to go back and figure out. And they find
Throw in the daughter
his
there.
pocket, and there's 7 random pills. and it's like 2 ibuprofen, and they give her
And
the
the
ibuprofen,
PCPs.
and she's
Crazy
immediately
enough
cured.
to work.
Smash them all together, and I cure zombieism.
I don't find any of that stuff anywhere near as
Right.
compelling as the Doctor
We tried.
or the
It
Jimmy.
was an experiment, and I don't think I could come up with one where I think it's as good as this one or I'm interested. It'll be a standard zombie film. People that are into zombie films will probably like it, but I need something different and extra.
I mean,
And this film had that.
I think if you if you want to go with really solid like zombie movie like the first movie, I'm in. We've done that in this series.
We've done it already in the whole series, yeah. Joe, any ideas on the third film?
There's a second group of Satanists, but these ones are clowns, and it's just like I don't know.
Ghost zombies.
No, I think we've done enough with the humanity is also bad guys, so it's time to go back. At this point in the third film, go back to dealing with the rage virus. And I think what we came up with is probably what it's going to be. And according to this, Sony's interested in doing the final film, even though this one may not have made a bunch of money, which makes no sense. So that could be revoked at any time. But now I'm kind of curious. Do you want there to be a third film?
No.
If there is a third film, what would you do? Leave it in the comments down below.
Change directors.
I'm okay with it being left off here and left to my imagination what happens next. And because if Ralph Fiennes and
Jimmy's.
I don't care
Spike.
about the Jimmys. We're okay with Jimmys are done.
Spike.
I don't really care about Spike either. So
It has
yeah.
to be Spike.
Oh, Spike's dad.
I know. I don't really care about Spike. But
This
yeah, they
costs too
bring
much-
him back, right? Because he's a known.
It costs too much money in the third film. They have to cut.
Oh
the
yeah,
budget.
because now he's used to making Craven money,
Yes,
and so
That's right.
he's Craven.
He's available. He ain't doing nothing.
You don't know.
he may be James Bond. We don't know.
Craven 2. Sony's done stupider
Electric
things.
Boogaloo.
All right, guys. Thank y'all so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.